Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends. My goodness, we have a lot to talk about because obviously I have been MIA for the last 2 weeks, mostly because I was trekking around the wilderness of Donegal. Keep an eye out, I do have a vlog kind of showing you all of the pretty scenery of that, but we do have lots to talk about, and thank goodness for you guys diligently tagging me in content. Your names are here, a massive thank you. Obviously I don't have Tia with me this week, unfortunately she has the flu, but don't worry, she will be back. Everything will eventually go back to how it was. Isn't that all we really want? But let's get straight on into it. So Klarity Kosmetics have their Lost at Sea palette, which is currently available for $56. As you guys know, I am an affiliate with the brand, so you know you can use my code or any other code for some money off. So with this palette, you get 2 super shiny extreme multi-chromes, 2 super foiled gorgeous duochromes, their words, not mine, 2 super foiled eyeshadows, and 6 super pigmented mattes as pressed pigments. Now, this kind of seemed to throw quite a few people because the palette layout and the way that the pans are actually put in looks very, very similar to Odin's Eyes. So a lot of people were like, oh my god, this doesn't look like Klarity at all. But we knew that Klarity were kind of doing a little bit of a rejig. They wanted to make their pan sizes smaller because that's kind of the feedback they've gotten from consumers, that they just weren't using all of the shades, which is fair. So I appreciate that we basically have a 12 pan palette now for $56, which is a lot cheaper than what their palettes would have been previously. So I quite like this. And then interestingly for me, I feel like the outside of the palette, the packaging looks like a mixture of Adept Cosmetics and a little bit Glaminatrix. More Adept Cosmetics to me. But I love this, and it's very kind of on trend because obviously the whole mermaidy thing has been going all over the place, what with the new Little Mermaid film. So this made sense to me, and for $56, I mean you could get it for like 52 when you added on like some coupons, etc. I think this is beautiful. Now part of what sold me was their video, and I'm going to show that to you guys now, where you could really see the different tones of this palette under lots of different lighting, and you can really see those shimmers, those multi-chromes, and just how disgustingly beautiful they actually are. That really, really sold me, and I appreciate that on their website now, which by the way, this is still available. They have it under lots of different kind of lighting conditions. So they have it under like lots of bright light, and then on dimmer light, and then darkest light. So you can really see all of the different tones under lots of different conditions. So for me, that makes an awful lot of sense as a consumer, because we've talked about this before, where like the lighting really impacts what you think of the product and whether or not you're like, yeah, I'll get this or not. The swatches, stunning, so pretty. I'm really here for it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now I have actually picked this up. Are we that surprised? It has yet to arrive. It's obviously coming from the States, so that will take a little bit of time, but yeah, I like this. I mean, yeah, it's like an orange and a blue, like sort of a color story, which we have seen many a time before, but I think this is pretty. And I've said this before, I feel like they could just come out with a palette that just had shimmers and multi-chromes, etc. And I would pick that up because honestly, they're damn good. Like the mattes are good as well, don't get me wrong, but for me, it's the multi-chromes and the shimmers, etc. is where their stuff really performs very, very well. And like their website overall has had quite a bit of a facelift. It looks quite different. They've obviously put a lot of time and effort into that, which I quite appreciate. So for me, yes, I was super excited about this, and I did actually grab it. So if you guys want to see a review of that, it will come at some point. Who knows when, because I have been all over the place, literally and metaphorically. But I found it really, really interesting because when I brought it to you guys, 20% of you loved it, and the majority of you guys were very stuck on this, which was you didn't think that it was Klarity because it looked so much like Odin's Eye. I think that's what really kind of got people a little bit like, oh, what's going on? Now, me personally, I'm like, a brand can't own a pan design or a pan layout. Like that's a bit much. Like where do we stop with these things? But I get why it kind of tripped people up a little bit. Now personally, I think it's beautiful, and I'm very, very excited to get it. Oh, guys, you know my feelings on Ensley Cosmetics. I just love them. I think they're stunning. They do beautiful, beautiful palettes, and this is their Strawberry Moon eyeshadow palette, which is available now for €70.94. So basically, it's where they had their original Strawberry Moon palette, but they gave it a little bit of a facelift. They kind of changed around some of the formulas a little bit. So I kind of love that they are constantly trying to like reinvigorate their brand and try to improve on things now. Now, of course, you'll find people who are like, oh, I liked it as it was, which, yeah, that's going to be really annoying if you've been a fan of theirs for a really long time and really enjoyed the formula to now see it be changed. But personally, being in the makeup game for as long as I have been and seeing brands do what they do, I really appreciate it when I see that a brand is trying. So they've upgraded their matte formulation. They say that it's going to give a velvety smooth application, and they have added in 3 mesmerizing multi-chrome shades, so 3 shades that weren't in there before, and they've of course changed up the artwork that's on the front of the package, which is beautiful. And they said, making it a true collector's item. Ensley Rain, are you talking to me? Because I feel very seen right now. In that palette you get 6 sparkly multi-chromes, 5 shimmery duochromes, and 7 velvety mattes. And again, it's such a beautiful palette, but what sold me was the actual video. So again, I'm going to show it to you guys right now. These are the sort of palettes where when you look at the multi-chromes and the shimmers, it really comes to life when you see it in a video, because you can see all of the shifts, all of the dimensions, and I just thought this was so beautiful. I'm annoyed that Ensley Rain exists, because now that I know that they are a thing and I really enjoyed their products, it's becoming very difficult for me to say no, because if you know me, you know I struggle with saying no to makeup, and this is now a new thing that I have to deal with. I actually didn't say no to this. I ended up buying this, so it is on its way to me. And those swatches, like, shut up. Yes, it's kind of rainbow-esque, but it's very like jewel toned rainbow, and I'm here for that. I love the dimensions. I love the shift. I think it's so pretty. And then there's kind of aspects of it that's almost like a little bit pastel as well. I like how versatile this is. It's just like the correct mix of all of these different kind of hues for me. And I mean, their artwork is super cute on their palettes. I just think they're so pretty. And I've bought like a reformulated palette of theirs already, which was the Flower Moon palette. I've yet to do a video with it, but I have been tinkering around with it in the background, and I've been enjoying it, which is part of what led me to get this. So this will actually be my 3rd Ensley Rain palette, believe it or not. Which, by the way, in the space of a year to have gone from 0 to like 3 of their palettes, I feel is quite a jump, and I am quite a fan of them at this point. But these are stunning. Let me know, did anyone else pick this up, or was it just me being like really ridiculous? Because I think it is stunning. And when I put it to you guys, 38% of you loved it, and 33% gave what I believe is the only other correct response, which is I wish to roll around in the shimmers, which quite frankly I agree with. Now, we've had a lot of sneak peeks from Glamlite over the years, and we knew that they were coming out with this ghost face collection. They kind of were like, hey, this is happening, and I was like, okay, it'll take them a while to kind of tell us more about this. But no, between them kind of saying this is happening and them kind of showing some of the shades, it was about 2 weeks of a break between those things. So now we do know, or at least have some idea of what it is that they're doing. And again, I'm going to show you guys the video that they actually released showing some of these shades. And that's kind of exactly what I thought. Nice kind of murky silvers, blacks, grays. I am going to say it, I friggin' love it. I think this is so pretty. Yeah, I love that they now ship to Ireland. Mwah, well done, Glamlite. Delighted for this. I am excited about this. It's obviously like a long sort of a palette, which is kind of a bit annoying for me for like storage, but that's a me issue. That's nobody else's issue. That is literally just Teresa's an idiot and likes things a particular way. They've obviously gone with the ghost face embossing. I think that's a really nice little detail. I'm assuming they have like a red shimmer in there, because that it kind of looks like we have. It's fabulous. And those shimmers and the way that they shift in the light, I very quickly went from having 0 Glamlite to having like maybe 5 or 6 Glamlite palettes, which how does that happen? How do you get so many in such a short space of time? But I am really excited. I'm assuming it's now August. I'm assuming we're going to know about this, or it's going to be available come September. I would imagine, because they said autumn. Although for some people August is autumn, depends on who you ask. But I'm assuming we're going to get it around about September, so that then people can have like loads of looks and stuff generated by the time it comes to Halloween. Because I think it would be stupid of them to leave it all the way till October. You know, with shipping, etc. It's going to take people a while to actually get them. But I'm excited about this one. I think it looks really cool and so interesting. And when I put it to you guys thought the exact same thing. This is one of the highest ones we've seen. 68% of you loved it and 15% said that you're over collabs, which I totally get. Let's be real. It's kind of nice to see what the brand themselves is outside of a collab, because I don't really know what the story is with Glamlite outside of that. Then we have KVD Beauty, which quite frankly, they need to change their name. They need to drop all ties with Kat Von disease at this point. Like, I get that they're trying to save some amount of product that they have, you know, the packaging, etc. You know, they needed to use that up because let's be real, that's environmental, that's sustainable, etc. But I mean, she's been gone from the brand for a while. Surely you could repackage and change that around. I get that they're like, what is it, like KVD means something, it's like Cara Veritas or something. They went with some weird Latin name and we were all like, none of us are buying this, you silly goose. Anyways, they have these new long wear gel eyeliners which are available right now for $22. You can get them on KVD's own website, and I gotta say they do look quite pretty. You know me, I'm loving that green shade, the blue shade. I think they're very, very nice. Now these are a mix of matte and metallic eyeliners, so very, very nice, I have to say. But I have heard kind of mixed reviews of these, that some of them don't wear very well, they're not exactly budge proof, etc., which is kind of counter to their own claims. So I don't know, I wouldn't exactly run out and get these. You know, I have a lot of like eyeliner brands that are like firm favorites of mine. I like Urban Decay's, I like NARS, actually, surprisingly. She Glam do some really, really good ones. So I don't know about this one. I would need somebody that I really trust to try these and tell me what they think of them. But like, I think they're decent colors, you know. Are they necessarily going to change the world? No, not really. It feels like KVD are like a year behind on a lot of things at this point, and it's kind of disappointing. Because again, if you've been like obsessed with makeup in the way that I have for the length of time that I have, you will remember when KVD, when it was Kat Von D, was like a really big thing, and there was the Circo Loco palette, which, you know, was like just a massive thing, and everyone was like fawning over it. And now to see it kind of go from this really, really peak success to just kind of people kind of going, oh, does this brand, it still exists? Because I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that it does. Now I see it in TK Maxx quite a bit. I'm not saying that that's the harbinger of doom, but we've kind of seen that with other brands before, in that, you know, when they're not doing that well, they end up in TK Maxx, and then we learn that they're going under. You know, BH, we saw them in there quite a bit. Now obviously this isn't true for everything, but it's just me conspiring. We like this. Yeah, I think in all they are very nice shades. Would I spend $22 on it? No, not really. I think that would be equivalent to about 20-ish euro here. Maybe if it was like 15 euro, I think about getting one. Like, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not saying, oh my god, I'm never going to buy these. I actually think I will at some point. I think I'd get the green one because I have problems, and well, we all know what I think on these things. But when I put it to you guys, 26% of you loved it, and 39% said that you are kind of surprised that this brand still exists, which honestly, fair guys, fair. Then we have Juvia's Place, which I feel have kind of like dropped massively in popularity, which makes sense. They've been involved in a couple of different controversies. Now they've kind of kept quiet over the last year or so, because there was a more recent controversy. You can look that up on Reddit, etc. But I will say they've kept their nose clean for the last year, which I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm not saying that a brand has to be like without fault. I like to see, you know, a brand maybe learning from things. We're humans, we'll make mistakes. But this is their new bronzed cream bronzer, which seems like a very strange sort of a name for a product, bronzed cream bronzer. But I do appreciate that there's some really good depth in here. It goes from very, very light, which would suit me, to very, very deep. This makes sense because this is a POC brand, and you generally see that these sort of brands are the best at inclusivity. Like, that's almost like the rule at this point. And it's $18. So I think that's actually pretty darn good for a bronzer. I quite like these. Now, I will say, when I look at bronzers, I don't kind of go, oh my god, I'm so excited, I must have it all. Like, I mean, A, you can't have it all because you're gonna look ridiculous. But I don't get excited about bronzers, and I did recently get the Viva cream bronzer, so I don't need any more cream bronzers. Like, I know I have a fat face, but it's not so fat that I'm going to use up an entire like pot of bronzer in one go. I do think though, this is a very nice, affordable option if you're interested in it, you know, as you go forward. Check it out, check out the history with the brand, see if you feel comfortable with it. I think the price is pretty good, and I will say anything I've ever had from Juvia's, I'm going to say it right now, I think they are very good quality. Okay, I do. I have purchased a couple of things recently, like I got them on sale because I kind of wanted to use them as blush. But I think this is actually, it's not a bad step from them, but I think they're really struggling in a sense of trying to overcome a lot of the issues that they've had as a brand in terms of their PR, you know, and I think it's really difficult, you know. I feel bad for a lot of brands these days. It's hard to like get past that like cancellation phase and kind of show, hey, I've grown. There have been no issues, because people will just keep bringing up kind of stuff. But again, as I said, it's up to you guys. I'm not going to tell you what to buy, what not to buy, etc. This is just putting all of this at your feet to see, do you want this or not? Now, when I put it to you guys, 43% of you actually loved it. And the thing is, we can get this brand at a couple of different places, you know, like Superdrug do it, so it is relatively accessible for people. And 21% of you really appreciated the shade range. So they are keeping busy behind the scenes. They're doing quite well. Next, we have Danessa Myricks, who have released their new Colour Fix formulation. So it's part of their liquid metals collection. So it's 6 new kind of liquid metal pigments, so they're multi-use. You can use them on the lips, on the eyes, wherever it is that you want. No, not down there. I don't think they've tested for that, but they're available now for $20, and they come in 6 shades, and I do think they look gorgeous. Now, I do feel that there's 2 shades that are a little bit too similar to each other. Maybe I'm being a bit whatever. I feel like Hot Fire and Spark are a smidgen, just a smidgen too close to each other, but that's me being very, very like meh, 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 meh. I love the shade Lilac Flame. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the thing is, a lot of people tend to get a bit intimidated, I think, by these sort of formulas, because they're like, oh my god, what do I do with them? But the brilliant thing about Danessa is that she makes these things so they are very versatile, so that you can use them. Like, you could just wash this over the eye, blend it out, and give you a little bit of a sparkle. You could use it as an eyeliner to give more of like a statement. You could like sheer it out as like a really interesting sort of a highlighter. You could use it on your lips. What I love about this is she isn't really giving you any limitations on these. And for somebody that like gets very excited about makeup, I really enjoy when a brand is giving me something that is quite different. And I feel like $20 for something like this, when it's coming with claims like 24-hour waterproof, crease proof, and smudge proof, that is excellent. Now, I will also say that I have 1 or 2 of their colour fixes, and when I tell you, if they went missing from my collection, I would instantly repurchase them. They are very, very good. So if you are looking at these and kind of going, oh, what's going on? Like, if you like the look of them, I would highly suggest kind of considering picking them up. If you are somewhere where you can even swatch them, go and swatch them, because I think this is one of those products that swatching makes a huge difference, and that's part of where you're going to go, oh, I didn't realize it was like that. These are so cool. I love that, like, even the pictures that they're showing are giving these really like bold looks down to like much more subtle smoked out. It shows how versatile these are. Yes, they seem very like intimidating first off, but you don't have to go and do theatrical makeup. You could just kind of wash it out on the eyes if that's all that you wanted. And I feel like $20 is not bad at all for something that is that versatile. Can you tell I'm very excited about it? I think it's very cool. Am I going to get it right now? No, but it's on my list. You know, once this comes to Cult Beauty, I'm going to add it into my bag, and then I'm going to wait for payday, and then I'm going to have to, you know, try and make excuses to buy it. Like, even though I've like lots of other things to pay for at the moment. But I think this is so, so interesting. Danessa just grabs me by my heartstrings on every single release. Gosh darn you, Danessa. I mean, I wish I'd never bought her stuff in the first place. I've said this many a time, but I am now like full on obsessed with them. They are such good quality. if any of them went missing from my collection, I would have to try and hunt them down. I feel very, very strongly about it. But I found it really interesting that when I put it to you guys didn't feel exactly the same way, and that's fine. We can disagree. It doesn't have to be a big thing. 27% of you loved it, and 63% said not for me, which fair, but let me try to convince you otherwise. I feel like you will enjoy it. I feel like if you had time to play with it, you'd get to know what the hype is on this. Just trust me. Again, if you can go somewhere to swatch it, swatch it. Don't go off and buy it necessarily. Just go and, if you know somebody who has it, annoy them and see can you play with it. So then we have Lunar Beauty, and they kind of announced this new launch very, very quickly, and then it was subsequently released within a very short amount of time. This is the Lunarversal. We see what you did there, Manny, setting powder, and it comes in 4 different shades, and you get 20 grams of product for $28. So obviously on the face of that, you're kind of going, $28? That's very expensive. That's like Laura Mercier sort of price. What is going on? However, for that $28, you are getting 20 grams of product. So that is a lot. You're also getting a little velour puff in there, which is super, super cute. Great for like under the eyes. But for me, the most interesting bit is that it is talc free. Now, any brands that have done talc free to date are crazy expensive. Look at Lady Gaga, right? If you want to get one of her colour fused blushes, which I ended up getting because I'm an idiot, that is $42, and that's talc free. We're looking at this, which is a translucent setting powder, which frankly, as far as I'm concerned, something that is like very powder, finely milled, etc., and is going all over the place, and you're going to be possibly inhaling it. The fact that that is talc free makes me super, super happy. But that's $28. It's 2/3 the price of Lady Gaga's blush. This is very, very interesting to me. It comes in 4 different shades. There's translucent pink, translucent light, translucent medium, and translucent deep. I really, really appreciate the fact that they have come out with a very first setting powder, but ensure that there's really good range. Very smart to ensure that there's pink, because that has been like all over the place these days. He really is thinking about this. Now, the packaging is adorable. They've obviously included like the lunar sort of a design, which again lets you know, hey, this is Lunar Beauty, and I'm totally here for that. Now, I'm an idiot. Let's be real. We all know this. If you've watched me for long enough, you know that I am. I ended up getting 2 of these. Yeah, I got the light one and I got the pink one. So I am very, very excited to try this out. And that's unusual for me, because like setting powders, I don't normally get like, oh my goodness. But I think this is actually really, really great. And like the pink looks super, super cute. I went for the light. The medium, obviously I didn't get, and the deep, obviously didn't get, but I really, really appreciate that he's thought of that. It shows kind of how long Manny has been in the game, that he is aware of all of these things. And to add to that, anything that I have gotten from Lunar Beauty, I do genuinely really, really enjoy. It does say that this loose setting powder blends effortlessly to visibly smooth, blur, and control shine for a soft matte finish, all-day comfort, and a flawless finish. I mean, all of those sound fantastic to me. I don't get excited about setting powders usually. I don't. Like, I'm just kind of like, I guess it's part of the thing. But this did actually kind of make me interested. The fact that it's talc-free, I think we're going to see a lot more brands going talc-free, which personally, I am all for. The more we see of that, the better, in my opinion. I'm excited about this. Let me know down below, do you actually want to see a review of this, or are you like, Teresa, I couldn't care less? In which case, that's fine. I've bought it for myself anyways, because I'm an idiot, so it's here. Well, it's not here yet. It will be arriving. When I put it to you guys, 40% of you loved it. So that was actually really, really high, in my opinion, for a setting powder. So I think this is done very, very well. One of the things that I really appreciate about Kaleidos is that they don't come out with like a million collections. It's maybe 2 collections a year. And I think that that's really, really great. I get a bit overwhelmed when a brand is coming out with a lot of collections. So I was kind of excited to see that they were coming out with something new, and they were kind of sneak peeking it with the outer packaging. And this is the Alma Viva collection. Now, in my opinion, don't come for me, I was a little bit disappointed with this. I do think it's pretty and I can see its place, but it feels like a really, really long time since we've seen anything colourful from Kaleidos. Like, the last thing would have been maybe the Flower Punk palette that was quite colourful, and I'm kind of missing those days. I get that they're doing a lot of quads, but for me, this is just a bit like, And when I looked at them, I was like, oh, do we not already have those palettes from their previous collection? They're not. They're actually different. They're slightly different tones. And I can see how these could actually merge quite well together. And in my opinion, if you put these new 2 palettes along with the previous 4 palettes that they have, that would have made a beautiful all-in-one palette. I think that's so, so pretty. Now their packaging is stunning. Like, their collector's pieces almost in and of itself. There's a lot to this collection because, as I said, they don't come out with much, like they don't come out with lots of collections, but when they come out with a collection, they come out with a lot. So if you wanted to get the full thing, it is, by the way, available now. The full set is €199.85, and that includes this sort of a drawer. But if you wanted to get the full set without said drawer, that's €163.81. They have their Untamed Glow Glossy Lip Glazes, and there's 7 shades in that, for €77.01. The Venus Trap is €20.17, so is the Twilight Rush. The blushes come in the shades Pale Rose, Hot Shot, Angel Wing and Pearl Bliss. They're €16.50. I really appreciate that these are very, very neutral shades. I think it's perfect coming into the winter. Then the lip glazes are retailing for €14.67 each. They have a Power of Life hand mirror, which we kind of saw in the promos, and that looks super, super cute. And that's €13.75. And apparently the dresser, you know, that you can get as part of the whole collection, comes for €50.42. I don't know who's buying that by itself, but there you go. We'll start talking about Venus Trap. It is very pretty. This is very K-beauty-esque. I think this is gonna look so, so pretty on the eye. Like, there's nothing about this that I'm going, oh my god, these are ugly shades. Not at all. I think these are very, very pretty. And would I be happy to have them? Absolutely. Am I going to go out and get them? Not right now. I am going to wait until there's like Black Friday sale and then maybe get them. For me, it's just a little bit too close to their previous collections, and I really, really wanted to see some colour, as I said. But it's pretty. It's kind of like pinky toned neutral, which is interesting. It's sort of like Huda-esque. You know, it is cute. And then Twilight Rush is not as blue toned purple as the previous one that they have, so I think this is a little bit different. I can see a lot of like really, really interesting looks that you could do with this when merged with the other palette. I do think it's stunning. Every time I look at the packaging, my stupid heart is like, ah, we want it, but we don't need it. We know that we don't need it, Teresa, so I actually haven't bought any of this. Like, as I'm filming, it's currently available. They do look really, really pretty when you see them together, and you can see how the 2 palettes would work well together. I think they're missing a beat though on the Kaleidos site, in that you can't get the 2 palettes together. You have to get them like separately or as part of the full collection, which I think is a little bit of a whoopsie daisy. I think they should have kind of made it available in that sense. Now the lip glazes, I initially was like, oh, okay, I guess. I just wasn't really that interested. But you know what? Seeing the actual swatches and how they look on the lip, I'm gonna say I'm kind of interested. This is the thing that I didn't think I would actually be interested in. I'm shocked, genuinely shocked. I will say though, like, I appreciate that there's 5 kind of more neutral shades, and then there's 2 that are like genuinely like glittery, interesting, and those are Free Fall and Penthouse. And my goodness, when you see those 2 on the lip, do I need? No, I don't. I love the packaging on these. I think they look so cute. But I feel like the other lip glazes are a lot more like wearable, kind of not quite everyday, but they aren't as like stop the bus. They're pretty, definitely, but not as like wowzers as the rest. The blushes, as I said, I think this is very smart. It's a lot more neutral leaning. I think this is going to suit a lot more skin tones than some of their previous releases. And we've seen a lot of like really out there blushes over the last while. So I think this is a really, really nice kind of like counter trend. I think this is going to suit an awful lot of people. Yeah, the packaging, stunning, like love it, beautiful. And I can see how they kind of complement what they have so far. Again, I'm not picking up any of this, but it is very, very pretty. Now, I feel like a lot of you guys thought the exact same as me, because when I showed you guys the collection, 28% of you said love it and 46% said wanted more colour. I'm a bit disappointed, which is honestly kind of where I am with the whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's just me being greedy. Not everything can be for me, and that's okay. Then we have Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and we knew that they were coming out with something soon because they had changed around their logo. They made it brown, and it was like, okay, you're doing something with bronzer. So this is their Forget Me Not collection, which the lovely Terry actually commented under my video on this, and they said, oh, I thought we were going to see like something blue because of Forget Me Not, and I'm like, you're so right. I feel like they missed a trick ever so slightly in naming it that. However, I think this is quite clever. It's a multi-use palette. It is available now for $44. You could use it as your bronzer, as your contour, as your eyeshadow, as highlighter. I think that's smart. I think this is going to work really, really well for MUAs. We're seeing a lot of like neutral palettes coming out these days. Or is it just me? Am I just seeing a lot more? I don't know. And she's also doing a brush set for $33. So there's 5 brushes. And as far as I know, they are not available individually yet. Maybe she'll do that coming down the line. I don't really know. Now, this is looking very kind of romantic in terms of the packaging. I think it looks really pretty. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't got a neutral palette so far and you're looking to get one, I would say give this one a go. I think you might enjoy it. But if you're like me and you have a lot of neutral palettes, I have more neutral palettes than I thought I did. I've bought a lot recently. If you're like me and you have a lot, you probably don't need this. But if you're like a Blend Bunny collector, you've already gone and bought this, so you didn't need me to tell you anything. I like Blend Bunny's formula personally. I find it's very easy to work with. There is quite a bit of pigment, so you do have to kind of go at it very, very gently. You know, it's easy to add, it's more difficult to take away, is all I can say. The shapes of the brushes are fine. They're not necessarily anything that I'm that wild on. There's like one shape there that I'm like, yes, I love that, and it's the second from the top. I really like the shape of that. Like, I feel like I could shade really, really nicely with that. I think this is a really smart palette. She's kind of grouped it again as we liked it before in terms of like the columns, so I think that was smart. I'm glad she's kind of reverted to that. Yeah, it's grand, and the swatches definitely show that it's very kind of cool tone leaning. I think you could get more contour than this than necessarily bronzer, but it's nice to see a versatile palette. And I said this about Danessa, Myricks, and I'll say this about Blend Bunny. I enjoy seeing a brand that are actually trying to do something versatile and multi-use. I think considering we're going into the weird financial whatever it is that's happening right now, when we're seeing a brand that's trying to give us bang for our buck, I really, really appreciate that. I think there's going to be a lot of MUAs who are going to look towards this and kind of go, this is going to be great for my kid. I'm really excited about this. And I love that her packaging isn't like annoyingly bulky. P. Louise, are you listening? You can mix stuff that isn't like grossly bulky. I like this. I think the price isn't bad at all. I would like to see the brushes sold individually, personally, but that's just me. All in all, I think quite good. But we're so used to seeing like kind of colourful palettes from Blend Bunny that I think a lot of people were kind of thrown by a neutral palette. But I will say that this was genuinely missing from the collection. Like, she hasn't really got any neutral palettes. All she really has is the Dollhouse, which is actually like pinky purpley toned, and then the All Done Up, which is quite grungy. So this is an actual true neutral, which was missing. So I understand 100% why she did that. Now, when I put it to you guys initially, we just saw the outside, 33% of you said that you were excited, while 46% said, like, you know, we're going to see. When I showed you the brushes, 24% said love it, 19% said that you prefer to buy them individually. That's also where I am. And when I showed you the palette, 29% of you said that you loved it, which I get, because a lot of you guys that watch me, you're like me. We've gravitated towards each other. We are birds of a feather. We like colourful, shiny things, and this is not colourful. It's gonna suit some people, but it just isn't for us, and that is fine. There's something about limited edition eyeshadow palettes and just general makeup products that make me very, very wary. I remember seeing a video not that long ago, and I can't remember who the creator was, so I'm very, very sorry. But they basically outlined that for companies to generate a profit on limited edition products, they generally, allegedly, use cheaper materials, etc., to kind of increase that profit margin, because obviously they're not like generating this palette over and over and over again. Like, this is what kind of gives me a little bit of pause. Like, I like this colour story from Too Faced. I think it's one of their more interesting palettes, although I did have somebody comment and say that it reminded them of the Cosmic Brushes Muse palette, and now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. Obviously the Cosmic Brush's Muse palette is a million times better. But for Too Faced, this is actually genuinely an interesting colour story from them. Yes, they've put in their obligatory pinks and purples because I feel like they're not actually able to not include that at this point. But they have the audacity to ask for $54 for this. And in my opinion, that's just way too much at this point. They really need to start working on their formulas, in my opinion, because it feels like they're very stagnant. They haven't really changed it around that much. And that's not me saying like, oh, the formula is crap, because it's not. It's actually, it's pretty decent. But like, you need to be trying to improve. You know, we talked about Ensley recently and how they were actually reformulating their stuff. If an indie brand can do this, why is a mainstream brand that has like a really, really big mother company not doing that? I don't get it. But the other thing that I really don't get is that this is maple syrup pancake scented. Who is asking for this? For the love of all that is good and holy. Why? I don't know. I get that some people love scented stuff, but for me, I'm very, very sensitive around sensory stuff, and if the scent isn't for me, I will fling it out of the window. I'm not able for it. But I do like the colour story of this. I actually do. Like, I like those murky greens. Like, there's a green in there and it's called Morning Matcha, and I fudging love the shade of that. I know I have it in my collection across a couple of different palettes, but I really like that. And I can see things I would do with this palette. I want it, but like for $54, no. For a limited edition collection, absolutely not. And as somebody said under one of my videos, you wait and see, this is going to be like half price. And I do think it will. I just feel like their palettes don't do well in general, unfortunately. And the thing is, they're able to do interesting things, so I don't get it. I like this, but I don't trust it. Have I got trust issues? I probably do. I've had a lot of stuff happening recently that has given me trust issues, but there you go. But they also have this maximum plump lip injection thing, which is $33 for pain. You know, pain comes at a cost. And it's giving you 0.14 ounces. Now they're saying 96% said that it leaves their lips feeling plumped. No, I do not agree, because I got their plumping lip liners and they did absolutely nothing. Like, despite their percentages claiming. Right, I am a psychologist. I have studied statistics. I have written several papers. Look me up. So I know stats, and I'm like, lads, where's your control? This is not good experimentally. This is rubbish. They said 96% said that it leaves their lips feeling hydrated immediately. Really? Really? And 98% said that it leaves their lips looking revolumized at 1 week, and others, 97% then said leaves their lips feeling softer and smoother over time at 1 week. In a study of 106 women. Guys, why didn't you have a randomized control trial? Seriously, why not? I'd like to see that. I want to see that paper. I'm interested in that. And of course, it's scented to be maple syrup, because that's what you really wanted. But is it just me? $33 seems excessive for lip plumping. Like, Jesus Christ, I'll just go out and get like lip filler. No, I won't. Like, I'd like to, but I think Sahil would throw me out of the house if I did. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird for me cost-wise. I'm not getting it. It is weird. When I put this to you guys, 9% of you loved the palette, 16% of you agreed with me and said don't trust limited edition palettes. And when I showed you the lip plumper, 7% of you loved it, and 35% of you, you're my kind of people, said $33. Are you kidding me? Thank you guys. Let us start a club of our indignation, because honestly, it's pissed me off. And actually, speaking of indignation, I have never had more hassle with a release than with this one. This is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette, and I can actually talk about it now because it's released and it's been revealed. I am so frustrated with Natasha Denona's constant leaks and then pretending that it's not a leak, that it's not them in their marketing campaign. Lads, we know it is. It was all over Reddit. I put this up and then Natasha Denona commented me, and I will say they were very, very nice. They said, you know, this hasn't been released yet, could you remove it? And I did. I removed it. I got some weird comments from some people that I've subsequently unfollowed, who were very weird about the whole thing, but I just, this has now left a really weird taste in my mouth. I need Natasha Denona to come out with a new like marketing technique, because this ain't it. It just isn't it. Natasha, your formulas are really bloody good. Your colour stories are really nice. They're really versatile. I have so much of your stuff, right? The quality speaks for itself. Stop doing these stupid leaks. Stop it. The fact that they went after Kat, who used to be on Beauty News, because Beauty News doesn't exist anymore, but that's a totally different thing and that makes me sad. The fact that they went for her and kind of were like, take it down, or legal action, at least they seem to have kind of like changed on that, because when they came to me, now I didn't know all of this had happened, they just went, could you please remove it? And I was like, yeah, sure, fine, done. But they need to work on so much stuff around that, around their marketing and around like their communications with people, because it's not good. The palette itself though, I think it's actually quite nice. It's going to be €79, but what they're saying is they are debuting a brand new wet effect sparkling and glossy finish formula. Shut up. Where do I sign? I'm interested. I quite like this. Now the swatches look really, really pretty. It is very cool toned, and a couple of people did liken it to their previous neutral palette that had already come out. It's the Glam palette, and I can see a likeness. I can see how they would be sister palette. I do feel like this I Need a Nude is much more lighter toned than the Glam palette, so it's definitely not duping itself. I think they're very, very good sister palettes. Do I necessarily need this? Absolutely not. I passed that point many, many years ago, but I think this is very, very pretty, and I think if you like neutral palettes, you'll probably enjoy this. This is gorgeous. It is. It's so, so pretty. I don't know how it's going to look on deeper skin tones. It looks a smidgen ashy in places, so we'll see what that looks like. I am intrigued. I have the intrigue. I like Natasha's formula. I generally dice with it pretty darn well. So yeah, I am interested. Now, the thing is, I was only able to talk about it again today as I'm filming, so I didn't bother putting it into my stories again, but I got some information on what you guys thought for the very brief amount of time that it was up, and 55% of you loved it. So like, this is a really good palette. It is interesting, but is it just me? Am I the only one that is sick of these leaks? I like leaks when they're in soup, but that was a terrible joke and I hate myself. Do you judge me? I judge me, but I'm so past it. Natasha, please do some new marketing, because this just ain't it. Oh, and speaking of ain't it, we have Urban Decay, who, God bless them, they do keep trying. This is their Naked Metal Mania palette, and it's coming sometime soon for $59. $59 for somebody whose formula hasn't really changed at all in the last 5 years. It feels like they're so dated, they're so behind. I hate the packaging. I want to say positive things, right? I like aspects of this color story. I like there's like a little bit of like a sunset vibe, but they're all shimmery shades. Like, all of the mattes are really neutral. Where are my colourful mattes? What is going on with this? What is happening? What in the world? Seriously, I just, this is so like 80s and not in a good way. Like, this is 80s in the sense of like misogyny and just general bad things. Like, I want to love this. I want to love Urban Decay. I was such a big fan. I still enjoy like their setting spray, their eye pencils, etc. They have a lot of good things, but their eyeshadows, I used to collect them. I used to collect the Vices. I had all of them. They're in my collection. They're right there. I'm looking at them. And every time I see a new Urban Decay palette come out, I think I die a little bit inside and I get unnaturally upset. Because it's like this, I have such nostalgia towards this brand. I had Daniela over and I was showing her like one of my first ever Urban Decay palettes and how used it was and how loved it was. I loved this brand. And I do still love it. I want it to do better. I do. And this is just a headache. I'm so disappointed with them. Like, what are they doing? What is this? And for $59, Jesus Christ, like, there's better indie brands out there for cheaper. This is, as I said before, if you wanted a sunrise sort of a palette, get the Tropical Vibes by Beauty Bay. honest to God, it's like what, 20 euros, something like that. Much better formula, much better. This just, honestly, it makes me sad. It makes me so sad. Like in every possible way. I'm so disappointed. I just feel like maybe they should just get rid of their eyeshadow or eye palette division. Just nix it. Not the brand, but like get rid of it and like just focus on other things. I don't know what they're doing. It is all over the place and it's not for me. And it seems a lot of you guys are in the exact same place, because when I put it to you guys, 12% of you loved it and 48% of you said stop with the naked already, which, hells yes. They need to stop naming everything naked because it has lost all meaning. We have had so many Made by Mitchell releases in the last, what, 2 or 3 months alone, and it seems that there's no real stopping with this. He's added now to his colour cases, which I think makes an awful lot of sense. They have done really, really well. Now, this is a little bit different in the sense that it's called the Curve case. I don't know why it's called Curve, but essentially he's taken on the shades of his popular blushes and bronzers, and that's right, I'm calling them a blush, not a blush, Mitchell, because that's silly, right? Don't know why you called it that, but he's taken them and made them into these sort of creamy formulas, which makes sense because the colour cases went down so well. This is, I think, a smart move. The problem, of course, is that a lot of people like myself who already have the existing powders may not necessarily get this. Like, I know for me that looking at this, it's €34.99 per Curve case, and there's 3. So there's light, there's medium, and there's deep. Obviously, you'd only get like whichever one is going to suit your skin tone, but that's still quite a bit of money. And if you are in the UK, you could obviously get it on the TikTok shop, get it there. That's probably where it's going to be the cheapest. It's too expensive for me to get via Made by Mitchell because of the shipping, so I'd probably have to get it through Beauty Bay. It's so convoluted trying to get these things. For me, I do like these. I think these are very smart. I think these are going to look really, really pretty. I'd like to see how they wear throughout the day, but I've heard a lot of really positive things about this so far. Like, already people have gotten their little paws on this. I'm intrigued, and if it was a little bit less money, I absolutely would think about it. But for the moment, not so much. And the fact that I already have these in powder formulas, I don't really need it. I think it's a smart move on his part to kind of capitalise on the popularity of the colour cases. But for me, to be what is essentially still a very fledgling brand, it's 3 years old, to come out with as many releases as they do in such a short amount of time, for me, that is just too much. It really is just too much, and I need them to slow it down because we're going into like fast beauty territory, and for me, I don't like that, right? I really don't. I have a compulsion, and you guys know this. I love makeup and I will buy it. It is my special interest. This is where the tism really kicks in. I'm just like, yeah, give me. But for people like me, I think it gets a little bit much where we'll want to have all this stuff, but when you're coming out with stuff all the time, it's very difficult. And I get it, you're a brand, you need to stay alive, you need to keep the power going, but this is, in my opinion, just too much, and it can't possibly be sustainable at this point. I like them. I actually would, I think, use them. I love combining cream products with powder products. And I think this is very smart because obviously we have Patrick Ta, who has their cream and their powder duos. And it's sort of like Mitchell is doing that, but kind of in a very roundabout way. And I don't know, like, I like the idea of it, but I'm not going to spend that amount of money on it, you know? I think this is going to be great for a lot of MUAs. Again, for that price though, I'm not so sure. It's pretty, but expensive in my opinion. But when I put it to you guys, it did do pretty well. But the big theme that was coming across, because it was between 18 and 25% of you guys were saying there's too many Made by Mitchell releases, and I agree, it's just too much. But it was relatively popular, going between 19 and 31%. Love it. And then the very last thing that we're talking about is Huda Beauty, and they're adding to their Glowish collection. This is coming out August 21st. There's 3 quads and there's 4 lip balms. The price is to be confirmed, but they're all kind of going along with that almost like clean girl person aesthetic. It's very like minimal makeup. I feel this is not done at a correct time, if that makes sense. Like, it's August and this feels more like a springtime, early summer release. It's a bit late coming into autumn with this. Now let's talk about the quads starting off. They are very pretty, let's be real. I actually think they look really beautiful on the eye. I think it's helpful that they've shown us that. I don't like that for two of those palettes, the deepest shade is actually the shimmer. I think that's a little bit, I don't love that. I feel they have an opportunity here to boost on their formula. And I've said this previously with other brands. You should be trying to reformulate. You should be trying to improve upon things. Try not to get stagnant. I think this is their opportunity to do that. So I hope that that's what they've done. Now, for a quad, this is going to depend massively as to what the price is, because I swear to God, if this is like €20, there's not a hope in hell that I would buy this. No way, because like their £9 palettes are like 28-ish euro. So I'm not going to pay €20 for something like this. And for me, I struggle with like a quad. I wouldn't be able to make a full look on it because I go a little bit OTT when I'm doing makeup. If this was like, say, €14, then maybe I'd think about it, you know, but it's going to depend as to the price. And I feel like the lip balms have come a little bit late, right? We've seen the MAC squirt balms all over the place, and I think it's interesting that she has like a clear balm, which is meant to be like coconut or something. I think is it scented, but I don't know. I feel like they've been all over the place at this point, and maybe it's been kind of done to death, and they haven't shown us any before and after pictures. And again, it's going to depend as to the price on this, because if this is like $20 per lip balm, nah man, I'm grand. I have the MAC ones that I got and I have been enjoying them, and they are like plumping, whereas these don't seem to have any sort of plumping. They have just said that they're moisturizing, and I'm like, dude, I have the MAC, which is plumping and moisturizing. Now these do seem to be like the pulley uppy ones, so people aren't going to be like, oh my god, I've forgotten how to use clicky things. Like, lads, you're fine. Somebody is going to be able to twist them down and be able to use them. I don't know, I get it. I think it's smart of them to add to the Glowish collection, because that has been kind of getting a lot of traction. This isn't really for me, and that's fine, because as I said before, I have a compulsion. I tend to buy things, and it's nice when there's something that comes out that I'm not like, oh my god, I need this, because I don't. I can see this doing pretty well. Like, Huda does do pretty darn well in general, but I'm gonna have to see what the price tag is on this one. Let me know what you guys think, because for me, I'm kind of like, jury is out on this. If it's like accessible in terms of price tag, then hells yes. But if it's not, then that I'm gonna be pissed off. Like, I'm gonna be like, nah, don't get it. Not in a month of Sundays should you get it. When I put it to you guys, and I just showed you the eyeshadow palettes, 27% of you loved it and 20% said that a quad is not enough. So I feel like those of you who watch me, we're very similar. We're the same person, hive mind. This just ain't for us. Like, we wouldn't get use out of it. It would sit in our collection. So let's just not buy it. Let's be smart, okay? But my gorgeous friends, that is it. That is the end of this week's episode. Don't worry, Tia will be back. But I do have my favourite comment, and this is from the lovely Darcy, who said, it does not matter if you were late. You're never late to this party. Thank you, my love. Always a wonderful new release episode. I learn a lot from you, Teresa. You really know your stuff. I think that Glamlite is gorgeous. Thank you, my love. And actually, the Glamlite palette just arrived today, the sugar and spice one, so I'm very excited about that. I will play with it soon. Let me know, do you guys want a video? I'll do it anyways, whether you want it or not. But guys, I really appreciate it. I know that I haven't been very consistent with uploading. My life has been a bit weird recently, but sure, we'll get through it, and I will drink this now quite cold tea. Yeah, I'm that Irish. I'll drink it even if it's cold. My gorgeous friends, thank you so much for watching. Do please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell, because sometimes, you know, YouTube doesn't notify you about when I upload my amazing videos. And do please share. It fucking helps the algorithm, and I do better, and more people see my videos, and I am greedy and I want to see that. And B, sharing is caring, except of course for STDs, in which case, wrap it up, don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.